This is ABL Boxing. I'm Kevin Elias. Tonight, Fordyce Boxing presents the new ABL Boxing League. It's a league of 6 fighters, or I should say 6 gamers, who are putting their best fighters forward for a chance to win titles. Not only for their boxing club, but for the world titles for their fighters. The ABL will feature fights in 4 weight classes: welterweights, lightweights, middleweights, and the heavyweight division. 6 gamers are playing their respective games: Fordyce Boxing and Fight Card Boxing, all the way to the title. Jason Graham is running it on his channel, and I am running my fights for Fordyce Boxing, as you'll see with the boxing clubs, mine and Ron, my friend, one of my gamers, on this channel as well. So we're going to get right to it, cut to the chase. We'll explain as we go along to keep the matches short. We're going to feature the Windy City Warriors tonight against the Broad Street Brawlers, the kickoff of the ABL. This is coming live from the 2300 Arena in legendary Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where fighters are made. Of course, I run the Broad Street Brawlers Boxing Club, which will feature 4 fighters you'll see. Tonight we're going to see the first is going to be a lightweight match, as we previewed coming on here this very broadcast. It'll be in the lightweight division. 2 legends in their game. From the Windy City Warriors, it'll be Julio Chavez with a record of 106-6-2, taking on Packy Mcfarland, unbeaten in 75 fights, coming in at 70 wins and 5 draws. If you look quickly at their ratings, Cesar Chavez has a slight advantage over McFarland, despite the fact that McFarland's unbeaten. So Chavez, by way of dividing, or I should say subtracting the 2 numbers and dividing it by the rounds, will have a 1-point advantage added to his score for 8 rounds. In the ABL, we're going to feature an 8-round card, so each fight will consist of 8-round bouts all the way through the regular season until we get to the championship rounds. The top fighters from each weight class, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, and heavyweight, will battle out for the world championship overall in the ABL, and the boxing club will win a trophy by accumulating the most points during the season. So it'll be 8 rounds, and then we go to 12. Now, unlike we normally play in Fordyce Boxing, we will only have 1 judge. It'll be Judge Blue. Judge White and Judge Brown will not figure into the matches because of the fact that the rules created suggested 1 referee through the first segment of regular season bouts. So we'll hear from Judge Blue along the way. So it's 8 bouts. Taking it out in Fordyce Boxing. If you remember the Fordyce Boxing game, we run with 4 dice. Those numbers are accumulated, and that's the score per round. If there's any adjustments, we know that Chavez will get the adjustment per round, so he'll gain 1 additional point for each of the 8 rounds, if it goes that far. We know what triggers the events. 4 of a kind is an automatic knockout. 3 of a kind will trigger an event such as a knockdown, a cut, a foul, or whatnot. We'll go to the respective chart. Then there is a chance for an event if it's a sequence. That means 4 in a sequence, 4 numbers in a sequence, or if we have double doubles, and we'll have to re-roll for that, and we'll get to it. So let's get to the bout. It's Julio Cesar Chavez and Packy Mcfarland, round 1 in the lightweight division. Since Chavez is the favorite by way of having a better overall rating, he will get to go first in the round. And again, subsequently, the winner of the previous round will roll first for the next round with the opportunity and advantage to get an event and possible win. Here we go for Chavez. And Chavez rolls a 7 and a 7. That is good for 14. So that'll be 14 plus the 1 added to his score. So it'll be a total of 15 here. So we put it in the mark, 15. And we mark the 14 off for the stamina against Mcfarland, as you see here. Now we're going to go with Judge White's original numbers, and we will convert those after each round. So we'll actually convert those on Judge White, although Judge White does not factor into this, but that's how we're going to do it so we can keep up with things. Here we go with Mcfarland. Mcfarland rolls an 8 and a 4. That's good for 12. So it will not be enough to win the bout. For the round, it'll go to Chavez. Here we go, round 2. So if you look at Judge Blue, Chavez is going to win that round 10-9. And to designate it, we're going to make it bold, and we will italicize it so you'll see the actual score. Here's round 2, Chavez. Chavez with an 8 and a 6. That's another 14. Not a bad round for Julio Cesar Chavez. So he'll get 14 again. Plus 1, that's 15. So a nice round again for Julio. And that'll be 14 against the stamina of Mcfarland. We'll keep track of the stamina as well, because once the stamina hits 86 or 100, then we're going to go to the stamina buster chart and see. Here's Mcfarland. 9 and 4 is good for 13. So Mcfarland, not enough to win round 2. Remember, these are 8-round bouts, folks. So because of that, you're going to have to get off the snide early and accumulate rounds. You can't afford to fall behind too much. So, and again, it's another round for Julio Cesar Chavez, 10-9. Let's go to round 3, scheduled for 8. Chavez in control. Chavez rolls a 13, not the sequence. If there had been a 3, we would have had one. But nonetheless, it's good for 13, plus the 1. That gives him 14. So it'll be 14 here, and 13 against the stamina. Here is Mcfarland. Mcfarland, 9 and 5 is 14, so we've got a tie round. 14 apiece, but that will get Chavez 14 whole points against the stamina, and the judge will score this one 10-10. We will not add up the bout until the end for dramatic purposes. Round 4 scheduled for 8. Chavez will maintain his control, and he rolls double 2s. Had it been double doubles, we might have had a possible event. Instead, it's 8 and 3, just 11. So Chavez taking a little bit off that round, but he gets that advantage of 1, so he scores 12 for the round. So it's 11 or 12, but 11 against the stamina. All right, now we go with Mcfarland. Mcfarland, no sequence, nothing, just a regular score. That'll be 5 and 8, 13. So he'll win that round. So Mcfarland gets his first round win in terms of Judge Blue's score. And with that, it'll be a 10-9 round the other way. We're in round 5, scheduled for 8. Nothing's happened here of significance. Look at the stamina of each fighter, 52. So it's dead even that way. And Mcfarland, though, has a less stamina issue than Chavez. Chavez can afford a round or two to coast, if you will. So here we go, round 5. This time Mcfarland, being that he won round 4, will start round 5. And he gets the triple 3s. An event has occurred. A total of 19. So right now we're going to put a 19, but things could change. So now we're going to go to our board. We're going to go to our event board here. And it's a 1. So a 1 will indicate what happens. If it was a 3, it would have been a foul. 1 or 2 is a cut. 6 is an injury. All right? And if it was a 4 or a 5, it would have been a knockdown. But we don't have that. We have a 1. So we're going to be looking at a cut. So we're going to go ahead and roll 3 now. We're going to roll 3 for this because it's 3-18. Okay, the defense rating does not come into effect here. It does on a TKO check and a knockdown, but not for an injury or not anything. So let's see what happens. So we're going to roll these 2 red, and we're going to roll the 1 blue is going to indicate what the number is here. Here we go. It's a 9 and a 6. That is 15. So right eye is swelling shut. So we got a problem for Chavez. His right eye is swelling shut. So there's an injury. Right eye. Okay. So Julio Cesar Chavez is hurting. Now that 19 is going to change, because a cut is an additional 10 points. So McFarland's going to score 29 now for that round. 29 in round 5. That's going to be significant. All that 29 also goes against the stamina, and we're now getting up there for Chavez. All right, so Chavez will now roll. And he rolls a double 4, 5, and a 6. It's not a sequence. It has to be 4 in the sequence. But nonetheless, it's a 19 plus his 1 advantage. He scores a 20, but it's certainly not enough to win the round. So it's a 20 for Chavez, a 19 against the stamina. And let's go back here and look on our chart. When we saw this swelling shut, we looked at a TKO check, and there's no TKO check. As you look here, it says here, there's an automatic TKO check for specific injuries in the round. But if more than 2 injuries occur in a fight, there's an automatic TKO check on the injury at that point and the beginning of the next round. But we don't have one here. So we're now going to go to round number 6, scheduled for 8. By the way, that round is a 10-8 round by way of the cut and the eye. So it's a 10-8 round in favor of McFarland as we hit round 6. Here we go. McFarland's roll. Again, double 2's nothing there. There's 8, 10, 11. So it's a low round for McFarland. He really needed to take advantage and did not. This could be a big one for Chavez. Chavez, double 2's, 3 and 4, no sequence. That's 6 and 5. That's 11. Plus the 1 is 12. Chavez is going to win the round, but he's not going to do much as far as the damage to McFarland's stamina. So the score there is 12-11. So that will be a 10-9 round for sure. But the stamina against will only be a 10. 11 there, and McFarland had 11. So McFarland is just 4 points off. So this next round, we're going to go to the stamina buster at the end of the round. And Chavez, if he gets to 100, which he's 8 away, we would have to go to that as well. Here we go. So Chavez will take it. Since he had 1 round 6, he'll start round 7. Scheduled for 8. Chavez, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's not a sequence. But he gets 9, 9, and 7. That is 16. 16 plus the 1 is 17. That's a good round for Chavez. So 17. That'll be 16 against the stamina. So at the end of McFarland's roll, we'll check the stamina buster and see if anything happens. See if there's an event. All right. Here we go with McFarland. McFarland rolls the double-double. Double-double. That is 1s and 2s. So right now we're going to put in his column a 6. But that could possibly change because on a double-double, there's a chance of something happening. So we're going to roll now. Look at the red, the 2 red. If it comes out 7-11, then it is an event. It is an event. But if it's 2-6 or 11 or 12, 2-6, 11 or 12, there is an event. 7-10, there is no event. And it's simply just the dice roll numbers for the score. Here we go. 2 reds. It's a 9, nothing happened. So that is bad for Mcfarland. Packy Mcfarland's only going to score a 6 for the round. So that stamina buster could kick in. And Chavez didn't reach it. So now here's where we're at, folks. So 17-6 for the round. It's definitely going to Chavez, but we're going to go to the stamina buster. All right, stamina buster for the first time. As we look at this, we're going to do the first check. But in order to do this, Mcfarland reached his limit. But Mcfarland has that -3 defense. So what we're going to do here is we're going to roll 3 dice. And we're going to take off 3. We're going to bring it down the chart 3 because Mcfarland has such a good defense. So we're going to be looking at the 2 red and the blue die on the left side. And we're going to add them up and see what happens. So we're looking at 6 and 4 is 10 minus 3, 7. We have a cut. We have a cut. So Mcfarland is cut. We're going to have to now go to the cut chart. And we're doing that right now. So we're going to go to the cut chart and see what happens. We're going to roll 3, those same 3 dice, and see what happens under cuts. And we got a 7. A 7 is a bad head gash. There is a headbutt check. So a bad head gash. Could Julio Cesar Chavez been cheating? We'll find out. So let's write it down. Get it on our score. Bad head gash. And that was from a headbutt. So we've got to see what's going to happen now in the bout. It could change everything. So now let's go back to the chart we were just at. Headbutt check. Here we go. We're going to re-roll the 2 red dice. If it's 2-7 or 12, the bout will continue. 2 points, though, -2 to the injured boxer for the injury. And that's going to really put Mcfarland down for the round. All right. If it's 8-11, the referee will stop the bout on the headbutt and rule it a no contest if it's halfway through. We're more than halfway through, so we're going to go to the judges' cards. Here we go. We're going to roll for the 2 red and see what happens. It's 11. The referee will stop the bout. The bout is over between Julio Cesar Chavez and Packy Mcfarland, and we're going to go to the judges' scores. Since we're at least halfway in the bout, we're going to the judges' scoreboard. Here we go. So no deduction. Let's go back to clarify this. There is no deduction in the bout. It would have been -2 here, and the bout would have continued. Here, they're just stopping it and going to the card. Okay, so referee will stop the bout. We're going to mark this down. Referee stops bout after headbutt in round 7. All right. Now we're going to see. They're going to the scorecards. So 17-6. Since it was a headbutt, it's not going to be considered a 10-8 round. It's just going to be a 10-9 round. Again, because it was a cut, but again, it was not. It's considered accidental, incidental. It wasn't considered damage from Julio Cesar Chavez. So we're going to go ahead now, go to the scorecard, add them up, and we're going to see who wins. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of this bout, 67-66. The winner by, I'm going to call it split decision, Julio Cesar Chavez wins by a point, and it was due to the referee stoppage. Controversial. I guess you could certainly call it that. The head gash caused the bout to be stopped, but Chavez wins by 1 point from the incidental headbutt. And there you have it, the lightweight fight. Julio Cesar Chavez, Packy Mcfarland, Windy City Warriors against the Broad Street Brawlers. The first points go to the Warriors.